Come on. And then I need you to ask them, are you part of the rEVolution? If anyone has said no, let them put up their hand. Because we are all part of the rEVolution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peter Igaga. I will be with you this morning. We're going to have an interesting time because we are talking about going to the next level. And the best part of it is TotalEnergies is driving it, literally. So to get us started, we first of all have to take our security and safety into concern. So I'm going to call upon Dennis to start us off with our safety and security moment. Dennis, over to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are most welcome to Golden Tulip, Kampala. My name is Bongo Dennis. I'm a security supervisor of this place. Today, we shall not have any drill, but in case of alarm activation, we advise you to remain calm and you wait for our evacuation announcement. Not every alarm that activates requires evacuation. We always have a team that always goes to the scene to assess the situation when alarm goes on. And the moment it requires evacuation, information is passed to the control room, and then announcement is made. That is the time now you leave whatever you are doing, you get out to fire assembly point. Now for this case, in case of our evacuation, we still have a staff who will guide you where to go in case of such evacuation. So for the moment, in case of evacuation, this is our nearest route. You go straight, don't enter the lift. In case of fire emergency, go 2 floors down. That will lead you to reception. Then from reception, you get out to fire assembly point, which is located outside between the 2 gates. In case of injuries, we have our staff who are trained in basic first aid. We have an extension just outside there. You can call us on 410, and somebody will come and attend to you. But in a situation where we are unable to attend to, we normally refer that person to Nakasero Hospital, which is just a few distance from here. Washroom, just from this door or the other door, you turn left. You get, that's where our washroom is located. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I have for you this morning, unless you have any question in regard to what I've just spoken. Otherwise, thank you for coming and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Just one question for you from my side. Is the food free? I was just joking. Now we're going to go into our safety moment from Total, and I'm just going to call upon a good friend of mine. We became good friends this morning on one basis, that he told me he was born a techie. And he said it with a straight face. But now he's smiling. Prakash, you can please come up. A big hand clap for Prakash.
Thank you, Peter. My job here is to talk about safety. And since you already know how safe you are in this hotel, I want to talk about cybersecurity. You know, safety everywhere is important. Cybersecurity is also very important. Any guesses? You know, it is estimated that by 2025, humanity's collective data will be 175 zettabytes. That's 175 followed by 21 zeros. Yep. So cost of cybercrime also is increasing from 8 trillion estimated in 2023 to 10.5 trillion in 2025. So you see, as we generate more data, we are in digital world. We want to solve the problems digitally, but we also have to be aware. So the October is supposed to be Cybersecurity Awareness Month, not only for one country, it's overall, all over the world. So many organizations, many countries talk about personal data protection, making sure you don't get tricked by a hacker, how do you have good practices. If you are part of an organization which does Cybersecurity Awareness Month, please participate. Even if not, just take this month to understand what are the risks which you might face from a cybersecurity standpoint and how you can protect yourself and your organizations and your assets around you. So that's a short safety moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Prakash. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to jump into the meat of things. But just before we get started, so that we can, do we all know each other in this room? We are trying. Okay, first of all, then I'm going to ask a few specific people to just stand and wave to us so that we can get to know who you are. I'm going to start with Philippe, who is our country lead for TotalEnergies. You can be able to kindly wave to us. Philippe has something special for the hackathon participants, but he said that we'll share a bit later. I'm also going to call upon Josephine from Total Marketing Services to kindly stand and wave to us. I'm going to call upon Mr. Angut. Hey, this one is a tough one. Okay. But he's our regulator from PAU. Please wave to us. We've got representatives from UNOC and SINOC. Please stand up and wave. All right, thank you very much. Management and staff of TotalEnergies. Something tells me we're the bulk in this room. Okay, but come on, let's stand up and wave. Let's bring the TotalEnergies energy, just because we need to all get to know each other. We have representatives from KCCA. Please stand up. You do not need to be shy. We're not going to ask you about potholes or anything like that, all right? Okay. We also have representatives from Makerere University Geometrics Department. You can please stand up and wave to us. Then we've got representatives from Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation. You can please stand up and wave to us. So we've got representatives from Outbox, who are facilitators today, all right? And also key partners in the hackathon. Then where are our judges? Can our judges please stand up? So we know who they are. Fantastic. And our mentors. All right, nice. And we have the people of the hour, the participants in the hackathon. Where are you? Regardless of which team you're in, we just want to see your faces. Well done. These are the guys who have been working round the clock to do it. Well done. And last but not least, we've got our media in the house. If you know you're from the media, we want to recognize you so the story comes out well. Come on, please, stand up. All right, thanks a lot. So I'm going to call upon our country lead, Philippe, to kindly come up and give us some words of comfort so that we can know whether we're in safe hands. Philippe, you're welcome. A big hand clap for him as he comes up. Come on.
Thank you. Good morning, all. It's a very great pleasure to be here with you. To speak about mainly innovation, because all this hackathon, all this initiative is about innovation, how we can stimulate the talents of Uganda in data science, how can we stimulate the system to be more innovative, and give an example, a case study on what could be the benefit of doing so. I mean, the purpose was not to solve really the problem of Kampala tomorrow and to move to e-mobility tomorrow, was just to select a topic that will be able to foster, I mean, once again, all the main data scientist talents to think together about a problem. It's about solving problem together outside a corporate company, more in the civil society, to have a kind of distributed intelligence to solve problems. Because that's the world where we are now. I mean, we are facing a lot of challenges in the future. And of course, part of the solution is through data science, generative AI, machine learning, etc. That's going to be our new tool for tomorrow to contribute and solve this problem. So we knew that there were a lot of possibilities already in the country with Makerere, and we wanted to test that. And I'm very excited to see the result of this case study that we launch with all of you. First, I would like to thank all the participants, 17 team of four people who have worked hard and try to deliver their best. And today, we have in presential, I would say, the 4 winning teams selected by our jury. And so great, thanks to all. I'm excited to see the result. And of course, we'll continue to do such initiative. Alors after, I want to say a word about the topic that we selected. Why we selected this topic? Once again, it's because we try to select a topic first that can be representative of our presence in Uganda, all across the different branches with MS, with our service station, with our, I would say, activity, upstream activity, with our renewable activity that is already there and that will develop in the coming months and years in Uganda. So select an emblematic topic and also select an issue, which is not only an issue of Kampala, it's an issue of all the main cities in the world. And the first is an issue about climate change and greenhouse gas emission from the transport, but it's also a health issue in the main cities with the quality of the air that we breathe. I mean, and our children are breathing every day. And we have to address this. And that was, we consider was an interesting topic to put on the table and see what could be the ideas to come. And once again, I mean, I'm excited to see the result. It doesn't mean that there will be a possibility to implement immediately all that and make. I don't promise. I never promise that we'll by magic we're gonna switch all vehicles in Kampala to electric from one day to another. It will take time, but it's the first step. We need kind of, the more we speak about it, the more it has chance to happen. And because we need to foster, I mean, it's a major change. All these are major changes in the way we live, in the way we behave, and it takes time to adjust. And that's why it's important to be active. So this first hackathon, when Prakash came with this idea to organize a hackathon, well, I was just curious to say what is it about and whether it's going to be, it will generate interest or not. I was not sure it was successful, but considering what I have seen, I think we'll continue. And we'll try to organize more events like that to continue to stimulate, I would say, this collective intelligence, which is already present in the country. So thank you, Prakash. You have been very persuasive. And thank you all for your participation. And I'm keen really to see the result of all of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Philip, for that. So, to give us the juice as to why we are here today, I'm going to call upon Prakash to kindly come up and break it down for us. A big hand clap for him again. He likes claps. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Philippe, for the introduction. As Philippe mentioned, you know, when I first went to him, it was in the context that we've been in this country for a long time. We have talked to many people. I saw the talent available in the country, and we said, okay, how do we work towards it? So for us, one of the other area which we work towards is sustainable development goals. So we align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and we want to use that as an opportunity to look at how can we get the youths of this country involved and to be the active participants in social challenges, you know. So we would want this to be a trigger. I'm sure this may not be the last one. I hope all of you are encouraged to actively participate in other challenges to change the world, your world around. So it's important that youths to be active participants in this society. And as Peter mentioned, I consider myself as a born digital person. I'm old, but I would like to think like that. But I believe that a lot of the problems in today's world can be solved by digital. Time has come that we should use the digital. So we also want to encourage diversity in the teams, you know, diversity by gender, by thoughts, by background, by nationalities. So we would like to see this a world over. We promote diversity and look at how diverse teams can bring a lot of great ideas into the table. And today is a good example. You will see the diversity in all the teams, and you'll see how the ideas have come together. So it just validates our position. So when we started, you know, we said, okay, how do we go forward? You know, we needed a partner, and that's where Outbox comes in. And we also have KCCA, who's been very kind enough to share the data of the city and be an active participant. Makerere University has always been a strategic partner in this, you know, in many of our endeavors, and have helped us in this as well. We also have Zindi, which is the online platform. So we decided to go online, which was a challenge because we have never tested a hackathon in this country, and we said, okay, we'll send everybody to the moon. It's as good as that, you know. So we wanted to do it online, and that itself was well, we are not sure how it will be, but I think, you know, we were comforted by a number of entrants or participants who were interested, and people who participated in the pre-qualifier challenge, which in itself was a big challenge, actually. So yeah, so, you know, we also have judges internally and externally. So as you saw the judges, we have a few more judges who could not come today for different reasons. So the judges were diverse, some from TotalEnergies, some from business, some from digital, some from academic, some from the city, KCCA. And we also had mentors. You know, the mentors table were very diverse. You know, we have people from TotalEnergies, people from outside, who actually supported the teams. You know, I think a lot of work was done by mentors in planning and making sure that the solution for each team was up to the mark at the end of hackathon. For people who are not familiar with hackathon, typically we say 3 days, but actually it's only 1.5 days. The first half day just goes on understanding the data, what is the problem. You have 1 day, and then next day you present your solution. So think about it, 68 teams presented their solution in 1.5 days. And this is something which is momentous. And doing it online, which tests their skills and friendships and strength. I don't know how many cases where you had disagreements, you had fights, you may have, you know, you may have had many moments of, you know, anxiety, but I think you all survived very well. So without wasting my time or anybody's time, we want to see the final solution. So I'll call upon Wendy to just talk through the process quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash. My name is Wendy. I work with Outbox as the Chief of Staff, but I've also been supporting on this project. So it has been months and months of preparation for this hackathon. And like Prakash had mentioned, it has been online. We rarely have online hackathons. Most of them you'll find that they're physical, so we see each other most of the times. And to be honest with you, it's the first time over the months I've seen some of the faces. So putting the names to the faces has been amazing. So we started out with a simple launch where we were informing the world that this is coming up, just for people to get ready. And we're looking at young people, young tech enthusiasts, data scientists, to come and be a part of this activity. So that happened in early July, around 17th, and then we had to open up a call for application. We were a bit strategic in this call because we, as Outbox, we have communities of data scientists. So we were targeting young people mainly, and we encourage also women. And out of the 395 who applied, 45% were women. So that's really a plus. So out of the 395, they had to go through a qualifier test. And this was a process for 1 month because we opened up the applications on 25th July, and these were closed on 25th of August. So we're able to get about 60 to 100 participants, and we did further evaluation to make sure we have 15 teams. The initial plan was to have 15 teams with 4 participants each. However, through further evaluation, we managed to get 17 teams. Why we did the qualifier was because, I mean, I could have applied, anyone could have applied, but we wanted people with a certain skill set. Because at the end of the day, the solutions we are looking out for are things we are going to actually scale up. You guys are going to actually scale up. You guys are going to take on. So we're very specific on the kinds of people we're targeting at that point. So when the applications closed, we had to have an unveiling session, sort of. It was another sort of soft launch where we meet the teams and see whether there are actually people behind, you know, these names, these submissions. The teams were able to meet their mentors, thanks to Prakash and the TotalEnergies team to support, bring up some of these mentors. The teams had to prepare for about 2 weeks before the final hackathon, which happened on 18th September, 18th, 19th, 20th September. And like Prakash mentioned, the first day is really guys getting to prepare themselves, forming as teams, getting to know the mentors. So we wanted to have a collection of mentors with different expertise. And this enabled also the teams know what do they need as teams, what are they lacking on their team. And I can tell you throughout the 3 days, 2 teams, I think, dropped off because some of them realized we don't have a specific expertise for us to continue with this hackathon. So you can see that with this hackathon, actually, we made a joke internally, like, if you know it, you know it. If you don't know, if you're not in this expertise, you can't crack it. Yeah, so we ended up with 15 teams now, and then these guys went through the hackathon, and the judges selected the 4 teams. But initially, we were looking out for 3 teams. However, after the final scores, we managed to get 2 teams. So it has been quite a journey of, say, 6 months on and off, and it has been a good experience. And for us as Outbox, we see that the work we do with young people is still valid because we use technology to solve the problems that we're actually facing. So doing this through hackathons, through boot camps and activities comes out with solutions like this that people can use eventually. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Wendy. Now, we need to hear from the judges because the judges are the ones who took a call, and that's what the entire thing was about. So we need to know from Flavia who could hack it and how, literally. So I'm going to call upon Flavia to kindly come up. And as I mentioned, we are not going to talk about KCC, but I love the fact that you're dressed in green, okay, because you are ready for climate change.
Thank you very much. I'll definitely not talk about KCCA, but I'll mention that KCCA is also very interested in sustainable energy and sustainable mobility. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I'm here to talk about the hackathon and the rEVolution. And I'm amazed at everyone that took part in this rEVolution, as the judges who are amazed by the quality of work that came out from all of you. And thank you very much for being part of this. I would like to take this opportunity to also thank TotalEnergies for their ambition to think sustainably, to become a major player in the electromobility, and to also not just think about it, but to get to the action. Follow the thought with action to bring out our actionable points of how can they participate in this whole energy and mobility sustainably by bringing out the hackathon, so that at the end of the day, we are looking out for a network of EV mobility charging systems or networks around the city. So it's really amazing. And all the participants endeavored to make the most out of the competition. Their goal was to submit the best and most economic EV charging network in view of solving issues revolving around sustainable mobility, whilst projecting the output in a business context. All participants also strive to make the most out of the competition as part of their effort to conceive a viable e-charging network in Kampala City. The teams that crossed the finishing line had successfully submitted a process flow of the product, as well as a viable product that can solve the current mobility problems. The evaluation jury was composed of a number of people. The submissions were carefully evaluated during the jury session on the morning and afternoon of September 20th by the panel composed of prominent academics, corporate representatives, and established data science experts who devoted great care and attention to the business and societal impact of the project. The members of the jury were very much impressed by the quality of the projects that were presented by the teams. And out of all these, 4 of which are going to be awarded today. And this is what we looked at for each and every project that was presented. 1, implementation and effective use of data science technologies and best practices, the technical skills. And in here, the science approach identified by the team, and the one that best demonstrates the ability to justify the science approach and confront the state of the art in data science. So we were looking at a mix of science. You know, some people were using, like, for example, ArcGIS, QGIS, others were using code, others were doing a mix of things. And at the end of the day, we were evaluating each and every bit of it. How are you using the different sciences to come up with a project? Then we looked at creativity and innovativeness. Applicants have a creative and innovative approach to problem solving, do they? Yes or no? This involves the use of multiple variables and data sets to arrive to a solution. And then we also looked at how the visualizations were coming out. Are you mixing visualization with your code, or are you writing just code and then the visualization is missing? Then the business opportunity. This is very important. It's one thing coming up with a solution. It's another thing the solution being viable, the business way. So when it comes to the business opportunity, we looked at how scalable the solution was. If the solution had taken into consideration some regulations on transportation in the capital city, the target population, who is targeted, where are they located? Are we looking out for those areas? Then the expected return on investment. So we generally considered the team that best projected itself in the market context through an impactful network. Then we looked at the relevant experience. We considered applicants that had demonstrated experience with data science, tools and technologies, experience in related fields such as transportation, energy, and sustainability. All these were very important. Then we looked at the implementation. Comprehensiveness of the application in terms of functionality and working with a given idea or concept. So the concept here was we're looking at energy and we're looking at mobility, and then we are moving away from the current state to the future, the sustainable solutions that Prakash just mentioned. we're looking at the Sustainable Development Goals. While you're developing, are you looking at this? Or are you just writing code without understanding what the environment is looking for? So then we looked at team composition. We had to ensure that the selected participants represent a diverse range of backgrounds, experience, and perspectives, because this can help to foster creativity and innovation, but also to ensure a fair and inclusive hackathon experience for all the participants. And from all these that we were looking at, we assessed, and 4 teams came up as winners. The winning team was TKBN. I expected a kalulu from them. Then the next team was Shalom. It's Shalom here. And in position number 3, Data Night and Isbat University, they tied. It was a hard decision. Oh, sorry, Data Night was number 2. Oh, sorry. TKBN was number 1. Isbat University was number 2. Then Shalom and Data Night came out as number 3. So from all this, I must say we were amazed at the quality I mentioned already, but also at the fact that we have solutions. We actually have the solutions to many of our problems. This was just one of them. And we are praying and looking forward to its implementation. KCCA is very ready to work together with Total to see that implementation happens, because already we have our electronic vehicles on the roads. So if this is implemented, maybe it can ease work. It can make work a lot more easier for the already electronic vehicles that are on the road. So thank you all for participating. Congratulations to the winners. We as KCCA are ready to support, and because our main aim is to make sure that Kampala becomes a smart city, but also becomes a sustainable city, according to goal number 11 of the Sustainable Development Goals, which talks about smart and sustainable cities. Thank you very much, TotalEnergies. Thank you very much, Outbox. Thank you, Makerere University. Thanks a lot to the judges. Thanks to the mentors. Thank you, the hackers. And please, for those that didn't win, don't stop at this, because there's a lot of other chances. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Flavia, for that, and thanks for those words of encouragement. Clearly, it was a very robust process, so without a doubt, I believe we need to see what our hackers have done and whether they really hacked it. So I'm going to call upon our first team to just come and run us through their solution so that we can be able to witness it for ourselves. And the first team that I'm going to call upon is Team TKBN. Now, Team TKBN, their big idea was the approach uses artificial intelligence and an online map-based system to create a tool that locates electric vehicle optimal charging locations in Kampala. And because I hope you guys know that there's a big worry about AI. Are we safe, or is AI taking over the world? A big hand clap for TKBN.
Hello. Yes. Awesome. Okay, good morning still, yes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my name is Lydia. I am part of the team TKBN, and I think I am going to speak on the behalf of the team, but I will do quick introductions. If I say anything wrong, you can correct me. So I am Tasia Lydia. I am a data scientist and also a geospatial data scientist as well. This is Adrico Kennedy. He is a geospatial data scientist as well. We have Baron, our in-house software developer. And finally, we have Sandra, who is also a software developer, but also a data scientist. So we had quite the team, and probably that's why we won, but yeah, so yeah, we are very excited to show you our product today, and yeah, let's get started. So the question was, using data, how can you come up with optimal locations? Sorry, projector, someone projector. The IT person is saying someone projector, guys. Okay. Can't we hack it? So we wait. Yes, it is. Awesome, thank you very much. So, where did I stop? The question was, identify optimal locations for EV charging stations in Kampala. So when Team TKBN looked at this question, we looked at the different possibilities of approaching this problem. And among the different approaches, the most common approach, or the most standard approach, would be the simulation approach. This is an approach where you use real life data, probably attach it like to a moving vehicle or a moving bicycle. So in this case, it would be EV vehicles would be tracked throughout the whole Kampala, and then using that data, they would then determine where did people mainly stop, at what point did they start to lose charge, and questions like that. So then that would inform where the locations would be placed. However, the challenge with this methodology is it's quite expensive, because you'd need like GPS trackers for each of the vehicles, and then you need to monitor it for a specific period of time, and implementation in a new area would require the exact same amount of effort. And it's also very heavy on data, because you're collecting all this time series data. You have to store it in like a huge database, and even the skill set that you'll need to be able to like use this data is quite intense. So in this case, this could not be the methodology that we would go with. And so we went with a methodology called weighted sum overlay analysis, and we added to it an aspect of machine learning. So what happens in weighted sum overlay analysis is we look at secondary factors, things like access to roads, things like access to where is the population, where are houses, where are existing electricity lines, and these factors inform where the best location could possibly be. So this was the approach that we went with. However, it was a great approach. We could easily come up with a solution like that. But then we looked at it in terms of long term, right? First of all, it's quite economical, yes. The data sets are easier to generate and easy to reproduce in new areas, great. However, the technical expertise. So we looked at it in terms of, if at all we are to use this weighted overlay, you would have to do the same thing multiple times. For example, say, okay, so what's the best distance from roads? What's the best distance from an electricity line? And you would need someone technical to run through all this, and that was quite heavy. So we said, okay, why don't we use the dreaded AI? So we went into machine learning, and then we decided, basing on the solution that we got from the weighted sum, we are going to build a machine learning model on top of that, so that it can recreate this output for a new area faster, cheaper, and well, cheaper in terms of expense, and also cheaper in terms of skill set. And that was the final solution that we went with. Great. So next, I will just take you through a very brief of like what the methodology looked like. So we had Kampala as our study area. And so we created a grid over Kampala, and a grid is just 100 meters by 100 meter boxes. So for each of those grid points, what we wanted to do is we wanted to assess what is the distance to all these different amenities. Is this place close to a road? Is it close to an electricity line? Is it close to an amenity? Things like maybe malls, things like supermarkets where maybe a charging station could be placed. So we looked at all these different parameters and we computed the distance from each of these cells. Within each cell, what's the distance to all these different factors? And then we went through like processes of normalization, weighting, and then we computed the weighted sum. So at the end of the day, each square of 100 by 100 meters had a value. Which value would tell us, is it optimal, is it not optimal? And so basing on that result, this is the location maps that we came up with for the entire Kampala. However, if you look at this, you'll realize that it's a workable solution, right? It's great, but at some point, you need to if you're trying to replicate this elsewhere, we did not want you to go through all this weighted sum, figuring out the math behind it. And so that's why we picked out part of this area and decided to build a model to test for it. And this is what we did over here. So for this area, after we built the model, we then told the model, okay, fine, basing on the information that we've provided you, pick out for us the best locations for placing these EV charging stations. And the yellow clusters are the number of points that it picked in the different areas. And there are quite a number of points, right? If you look at the right side, the points on the road, those were an expansion of number 18, that's just down there. And it shows you that the model, when it picked out these areas, it actually did take into consideration the road network, and then, like you can see, it looks, the result makes sense, yes? But the good thing is also the fact that it picks out multiple locations, which is great, because when it does that, it gives the person who is now using this to implement to have options. So you have multiple options, and now you can choose basing on other factors like, is there land to place this thing in the first place? So is there maybe a partner that you could get in with, maybe like a supermarket, a mall, that would give you the space to put something to charge? So the fact that these options are there, now it's at this point that the implementer now zeroes in on which exact positions are going to be taken. Yes, so that is it. That was our solution. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Any questions for the team?
What was your biggest challenge at working as a team? Maybe you can tell us some anecdotes.
Okay, it was a great experience, generally. So what was our biggest challenge as a team? Our biggest challenge as a team was finding the time. So we are all professionals, and it was like, do you have time this week? No, okay, you work on it today because you have time, then you'll send it to me tomorrow, and I'll continue from where you stopped. So I think for us it was mainly that, but also like just getting out of, trying to think out of the box. And I think this is a point where I will thank one of our first mentors, who was Mr. Makabai Brian, and he helped us to think past the initial solution that we had. And I think that was also it was quite challenging, because he asked us, well, but you guys, you say you can use machine learning, because we hadn't implemented it before. He was like, but why isn't it here anywhere? We're like, but it's hard to put it in. He's like, no, what we think about it. So I think also like taking like that was, yeah. Yes, and yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, it was a great experience. Like, I think because we know each other, it's a bit easier. Yeah. Thank you. Any other question? So this is very funny story, and I will let the person who chose the name, dear team leader, explain why he chose it.
No, it's not a story. There's nothing big behind it. It's just our initials.
Okay, a big hand clap for Team TKBN. Love the energy. Well done to you. And hope we are going to share the money. Good things go around. Now, the next team I'm going to call upon is Team ISBAT. The big idea was the approach. Where's Team ISBAT? Yeah, you guys can start coming up. Where's the energy? Their big idea was the approach combines Python programming and Yes. Yeah, that one. Okay. Let them come up and explain it to us.
Good morning, everyone. Before getting into our solution, I would like to introduce our team. So we are students at ISBAT University, studying artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we have Martin Kenyi, a member of our team will take you through our solution. We have Bwenge Josh, an important member of our team who has provided a very good work to our solution, and another member of our team called Eric Matthew. So we're very excited. I'm Jonathan Lukwachu. I forgot myself. So I'm the team leader, Jonathan Lukwachu. So we are very excited to share with you our work. So now let's hear from Martin about our solution.
Good morning. Okay. Before I start, the challenge was about finding optimal EV locations for electric cars. So let me first start by defining EV cars. So electrical vehicles mostly use electricity, right? So to find these charging points, we had to take a lot into consideration, the time, how much time electric cars take. So if you look around and check, the average time electrical vehicles take to charge is from 1 hour to 5 hours. So we don't expect someone to wait at a charging point for 5 hours, 3 hours. So we had to take this into consideration. So we also had to take into consideration traffic patterns, because we don't want to put a charging point that is going to cause traffic jam, because in Kampala we already have traffic jam. So we don't want to alter this. So we had to look for a solution that will that can easily work with this. So the problem statement was in Kampala district, despite having a ripe market for EV adoption, it lacks structured EV charging infrastructure. So the challenge is multifaceted, involving considerations for traffic, congestion. So in this approach, we had to consider the population density, which people do we want to serve. So from the data we had data looking at the urban setting, looking at informal and formal houses. So formal houses, these are people we expect they can afford EV vehicles. Then informal, there's a low chance that they will have EV vehicles. So we have to look at, are we placing these EV vehicles in an informal area? Because there's a high chance these people may not be buying EV vehicles. So we also had to look at proximity to power lines. Remember, EV vehicles need electricity. So you don't want to put a charging point in a place where there's no electricity. So we had to factor into several geospatial and infrastructure variables to find potential locations. So from the data we had to prioritize major roads. So we had to remove roads that we don't expect EV charging points. So the base for our approach was to petrol stations, because we expect petrol stations to to have parking spaces, have malls. So we expect individuals that are charging can use a mall to go and shop at the supermarket. There's charging, there's space. There are parking lots at petrol stations. So we're looking at this because remember, EV vehicles take a long time to charge. So there's no individual who's going to wait 5 hours, 3 hours for their vehicle to charge. So if there's a supermarket nearby, a restaurant, so they can spend there about 30 minutes as their vehicle charges. So we actually had two solutions. We had two solutions, but we later went with the AI version. So we decided to use a genetic algorithm. So it's an artificial intelligence algorithm it's based mostly on natural selection of genetics. So the way we implemented this was we used it to generate random points across Kampala. So from these random points, we put in our constraints, such as the location should be next to a power line, the location should be next to a petrol station, the location should be nearer to formal houses, because we are looking at this as our target market. So why did we use a genetic algorithm? Because there are many algorithms that you can use to optimize and find the locations. So the reason we used this was a vast search space. So a genetic algorithm can work in a way that it can handle a lot of data while including more parameters. So for this example, we included constraints like we wanted our charging points on major roads, power lines, and petrol stations. Dynamic adjustments. So with this algorithm, it can dynamically adjust in case we include new data. It can adjust, and you can find better charging points. Multiple criteria. So we are looking at safety. So we don't want to put a charging point at a wrong place that can cause accidents on the road. We are looking at cost. Remember, to set up a charging point, we don't want Total to start setting up electricity power lines next to the charging point. So we wanted the charging points to already be next to a place that has electricity, so that Total can just easily set a charging point there that uses the electricity infrastructure that's already there. Adaptability. So our algorithm can easily adapt to changes in the environment. Remember, in urban settings, there's as years go on, infrastructure in urban settings change. So if you look at Kampala in, let me say, 2010, and Kampala right now, it's different. There are new roads being constructed. So with this algorithm, it can easily adjust to that. Scalability. So we wanted a solution that can easily scale. So if we wanted to implement this algorithm or this solution of ours to, let me say, to another location, perhaps to another district. So all we need is get data from that district, pass it into the algorithm. It generates for us new charging points. The benefits of our solution. The transportation system in the district also stands to gain through elevation of traffic congestion. So we want to solve traffic congestion, promotion of efficient traffic flow, and strategic point locations. So creating charging points, okay, it's also beneficial economically. So it's going to create new job opportunities for people through new infrastructure, and locations such as supermarkets, restaurants, they'll be benefiting, since on what we're basing on was individuals can leave their cars to charge and use these locations, such as restaurants. So these people will also be benefiting. So at the end, these are the charging points we came up with. Another consideration was places such as highways. So we don't expect people to be charging on a highway. So we took that into consideration because if you look through the data, I don't know if, because it's kind of small. If you look through the data, the map, there are no petrol stations along highways. There are very few. So we took this into consideration. If we want to put our EV charging points, we should use this infrastructure that has already been created, because while these people are setting up petrol stations, they took into such considerations. So we're just trying to build on top of that. So our solution was rooted into data analytics, genetical algorithm. So we considered geospatial analysis, the traffic flow, infrastructure development. How is this going to benefit the environment? Is it economically viable? Can it be done? So yeah, we took that into consideration. So I don't know if you have questions. Let me add something. So we created a simple web application, but we didn't set it up here. So thank you.
All right, just to add on, as he has said that furthermore, though the hackathon, the competitions were closed and they were done, the winners were announced. We furthermore went on to see how we can implement our solution like in our daily lives. You know, now since we are all AI students, we furthermore thought of how can we implement our solution to be like easier for someone who doesn't know stuff of AI, stuff of algorithms to work with this solution. So as he has said, we came up with with a web application which can help you, like using your phone, you can easily trace where an EV charging station is. Though I don't know whether you have internet here, like on this PC. Oops. I don't think, because our code wasn't, we didn't carry our machines, but I wanted at least to show you a simple video. I'm going to connect here chap on my WhatsApp. And then I show you like a simple video of how it's gonna be. Let me pick my phone there.
Maybe while you're connecting, or when you are introducing your project, you mentioned that you looked out specifically for formal areas because you expect that that's where the people that can afford EV electronic vehicles are residing. But for information, because for your AI, and there's the planning bit. When we are planning, we plan for both the formal and the informal. And maybe more information is that we are looking at mass transport. And elsewhere in the world, mass transit is sustainable. So if we are looking at mass transit, then you realize that currently the informal areas are the best market for the mass transport. And if we are going to implement mass transport successfully, then we need the market. So land use planning, that's residential areas, and where the majority of the people stay, then those are the best locations for mass transport. So it's also important, since you use the genetic algorithm, which is also adjustable, maybe you can put a bit of that and see what output can come out. Thank you.
Get your location where you at. Then use the other. So it gets your location. It gets your location, then it can help you. Full screen. So it gets your location. Let me say you're around here. So you just need to find the nearest charging point. So it will show you the nearest charging point that's next to you. So you can easily drive there. So what we're looking at implementing a simple Google Maps that can show you directions to get to the next EV charging point. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Team ISBAT. We are not going to ask you what ISBAT stands for. I think we know, all right? But congratulations to you and well done. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our first runner-up. They took second position. Next is Team Shalom. Where are they? One of the things that we can comfortably say about you is both of you held on to the third position and refused to let go. So well done. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? So this happens to be Team Shalom. Our team lead, unfortunately, was not able to make it. He had to go for a trip to Thailand, but he's watching us live. Yeah, he's Baimak Chavanji. He's a mechanical engineer with, his boss is actually here, Science, Technology, and Innovation in Chira Motors. Yeah, he is Pius Mafabi. He's a software engineer and a data scientist. He's Derek Ampire. He's a software engineer. I am Noah Chiwanukase Kamate, and I am an infectious disease modeler. Yeah, so that's what I do for the job. Yeah. So let us dive right into what got us here. So this is how we got into optimizing electrical vehicle charging infrastructure in Kampala, Uganda. Yeah, so the presentation basically is to take you through how we were able to come up with a solution to come up with 40 charging points in Kampala. And the benefits of the EV charging infrastructure in Kampala is to basically reduce carbon emissions and improve air quality in Kampala. That's one. Two is to come up with a more efficient transport system. And three is to ease access and convenience for EV vehicle owners. And the fourth point is economic growth and job creation. Just the way you're going to give us some money today. So yeah, I mean, you created a job for us. Thank you. So this is the data we used, and I think the data was gotten from KCCA. Thank you so much. We used border stages, bus stages, fuel stations, formal and informal housing, lakes, roads, slums, wetlands, power lines, that's the low and heavy voltage, and taxi, parks. So the data was chosen and utilized based on the following options. Population density using the data from formal and informal housing and slums. Then number two, we used accessibility via road network, and then proximity to high traffic stages using border stages, taxi stages, and bus. parks. So proximity to power infrastructure, to make it so easy to set up a charging point, you probably need power around, yeah? And fifth was environmental impact, the distance of the charging points from the lakes and the wetlands. And number 6 was accessibility to fuel stations, considering the distance between a fuel station and the charging points. So yeah, and how are we able to generate the potential charging points? One, we identified potential charging points. We employed gridding approach with specific grid revolution within Kampala. Then number 2, initially we generated substantial number of potential points, but due to memory constraints we used Google Colab, and it was not able to give us enough RAM to run the system, so we then decided to scale down to a smaller number, yeah? So number 3, we adopted a stratified sampling method to refine the generation and ensured more efficient and balanced distribution of the charging points. And number 4, in the end, we created geodata frame containing potential charging points that we would further evaluate for suitability. And I guess this is the point where I turn to the guy who did the code to come to sort of help us explain.
Thank you very much. So I must say it was a bit challenging, considering none of us has a background in GIS. So I think we're among the first teams thinking of giving up. But we pressed on. I remember the first day we got the data. It was we not expected a CSV, XML file, something of the sort, and you see .shp, something like that. You're like, what is this? So I must agree it was quite very, very intensive. Later on, joked around and say this is like doing a whole PhD course, because none of us had experience in all this, but we loved the challenge and we took on the challenge. So after interfacing with the data, understanding what it was, we took the whole first day to try and understand what is an SHP, a shapefile. Don't worry, if you don't know any of this, well, they are just a couple of weeks ago. And we finally got to visualize and have an experience of what this means. So with the data provided by KCCA and all the partners, we considered lots of factors, particularly formal and informal housing. So first of all, I know most people talk about EVs and we're thinking about cars and all that, but very few people are talking about borders. So if you have driven around Kampala, you'll see some green borders. So those are a couple of EVs, the electric borders. So also had to consider, slums, informal housings, and formal housings. The definition of informal housing on Wikipedia is illegal housing. So KCCA has something to work on. So we use something called AHP just to provide a weighting. I must admit that we did not have a lot of time to get a lot of input from experts, so we used online journals and that sort. So we sort of like developed a weighting system. What is more important than the other? For example, you could say power infrastructure is more important. Accessibility to a road network is more important compared to other things. It has to be at a reasonable distance to a water body. So using that, we sort of like developed weights and used that to generate potential points within the region. So we got that and ranked them, and then we assigned 100, because the software is just playing with numbers, so you could assign based on your desired outcome. So I think we started with 100 and later on scaled down to 40, considering the cost of implementing and all that. So we visualized this in a software called QGIS just to see the 40 places that we had, the software had recommended us to place the charging ports based on all these criteria that we had chosen. So yeah, maybe before that I could talk about the challenges first. Of course, the challenges first was reliable data. We needed also some more data, like traffic patterns and all that. I mean, what's the point of recommending a station, say, on Ginger Road, yet we don't know how much traffic is on Ginger Road. We don't have reliable data to go with that. also resource intensiveness. Very curious how the first team used the grid resolution, because we were encountering lots of memory intensive software, so it would chew up all our RAM. And that was very, very quite costly. So we had to, optimize that further. We also need about, another challenge was expertise requirements. I'm glad you know here, no one is a geospatial data scientist, but we also needed a bit of further refining to understand, on-ground work, right? Because we didn't go on-ground, we didn't go down to the dot to see a couple of the challenges we're going through. So that was another challenge first. So even if this is recommended, it would face a challenge in validation because you're not being on ground to actually see what this is going through. Another thing, of course, was time constraint, like other teams must have mentioned. But yeah, so I can't zoom in this, I wish I could. But these were top 40 places we had gotten. Notably, you could see, I wish I even had a pointer, areas around, like there are 2 spots around Makerere University, there's one around, I think, UMA, a couple of them in very notable places. And this was very, very satisfying to see that you could recommend, because I thought it would recommend around main Islamic areas, but adjusting the weighting and optimizing this led to most of this. I think there's one around Boise. The red line up there is the northern bypass, so it splits Kampala. So there's one just towards Boise, there's a couple of them at Makerere University. So I wish I could zoom in this. I don't know if I know I can't, this is a slide, but yeah, that's basically how we came up with solutions. So thank you very much, and we are open for questions.
Yes, yes. A bit of it is more of artificial intelligence. My background is pharmacy, but I'm so passionate about data and making sense of a lot of things through data. So yeah, so I end up here.
Any questions? We good? Thank you.
Thanks a lot, but just one observation. First of all, the whole infectious disease things, I only got infectious disease. The rest, I think we'll talk after that. And why do you still look stressed? Was it that rough? Okay. Thank you very, very much. Now, I'm going to call upon our last team to come and present to us. That is Team Data Night. A big hand clap for them as they come up as we wrap this up.
Our team leader can. Okay, can you connect it? Hello, everyone. I would love you guys to imagine for a moment a world where electric vehicles are really not for luxury purposes, but they're as common as fuel-powered vehicles. Okay, if that's really very true, then you won't be having these huge clouds of greenhouse gas emissions. Extreme cases of climate change events will really be reduced, and with the extreme cases of climate change events reduced, then it means very vast spectrum of diversity. I mean problems like disasters are really very reduced, and with that reduced, and now the thing is this, but for you to be able to achieve that, you've got to, transition to at least a mixed aspect of transition. And now it is very difficult to do that transition in cities like Africa, which, lacks, data-driven insight. And this, with the lack of data-driven insights, believe me that you cannot really advise, business ventures where to really position this EV charging station, and to an extent that they can really know when they place these EV charging stations at given points, they can make a given amount of return, profits. And also, they can really capture the customer satisfaction. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what my team did. Team Data Night, for the very first time, really addressed all this. It captured all the aspects of business, while it maintains, customer satisfaction, and it took into account, net profit generated by these business ventures. So this is what we really did. The first thing was to come up with an initial guess, okay? So one of these initial guess is like, we looked at junctions, okay? When you look at junctions, okay, these junctions are key points where visibility is enhanced and it is very easy to be accessed, okay? Now, if you really, install this thing near junction, you've got to take into account that they have to be at least 50 meters away from the road corridors. Otherwise, you can disrupt traffic flow. Now, then we also went ahead and looked at existing infrastructures, okay? Well, things like petrol station. We went ahead, looked at things like institutions, like shopping malls, churches, universities, airports, and workplaces. We believe at these workplaces, these institutions, people can really spend a lot of time and they can be charging, okay, while doing their various set of activities. Then, given these two proxies, okay, that we talked of, then we went ahead and said, okay, ask ourselves, are these proxies close to power lines? If yes, then it has a higher weight, okay, of really being a potential location for these charging points. Then we went ahead, given all these configurations, okay, well, what kind of chargers, okay, electrical chargers can we install? Is it fast chargers or slow chargers? We also captured that, taking all into account, the econometrics and the engineering into account. So we went ahead and also looked at, well, okay, our potential charging station has to be exempted from lakes and swamps, okay? Then we went ahead and also, we exempted, okay, for, in particular, the vehicles, okay, the slum areas due to inaccessibility and security issues, okay? So now, having all this into account, now we gave all these potential charging stations a life, business life, okay? In the sense that we took into account so much, okay, the profit return, okay? Because for any business to survive, you've got to have profit which can sustain it for long, okay? Now, so what we did was very simple. We came up with a mathematical routine, okay, which really maximized the net return, okay? Well, when the profit is really, very interesting, very appreciable, then we were able to install these charging stations. Otherwise, we put them as red alert for installing these charging stations. And our net return is given by this formula where we've got estimated demand for each petrol station, subtract estimated expenditure for each petrol station. I would like to stretch that here. There are very many ways, as my colleagues really used, okay? People can go into artificial intelligence and so on. But the thing is this, for you really to build on artificial intelligence, you must have well-established data, history of data, okay, about electrical vehicles, okay? But believe me, electrical vehicle this is really a very new initiative, okay, in African cities and so on. And we don't have a lot of huge data. And mathematics has really shown that, when you build machine learning algorithm on really data which is very less, so it's more likely to give you a false prediction. So because of that, we didn't really go into the aspect of machine learning or artificial intelligence. We use a pure mathematical linear algebra program where we maximized everything and we had full control over everything. So now from here, our estimated demand is this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most innovative approach which we did. Just like how urbanization rates of unknown places are established by looking at electricity lightning pattern at night, where you can really, extract out, what is the economic index of this place and so on, what is the urbanization rate and so on. So Ours is really very simple also. We use such kind of techniques to really, estimate the demand for electrical vehicles. So what we did was really very simple but very innovative. So what we did was this: given a petrol station, we scan a radius of 500 meters. Then we started counting, okay, automatically using our algorithm. We counted how many of these houses are formal and how many of these houses are normal, okay? I mean informal houses. Then from there, we assign weight. Given this number of informal houses, how many of them can really buy this electrical vehicle? Then we went ahead and also looked at, given this number of formal houses, how many of them can buy? What is the chance that they can buy this vehicle? Then from there, we came up with the demand in terms of numbers of people who can really acquire this vehicle. Then we went ahead and brought in the engineering aspect of electrical vehicle, okay? What is the average battery capacity which all these potential customer can buy, okay? Then what is the average charging cost per car? Then what is the charging frequency per year? Then from there, we were able to convert this estimated demand into monetary value. So then we went ahead and also calculated the cost of establishing potential EV charging station within each charging station in Kampala. So we took everything in the context of the settings of Kampala. So we looked at the following. First of all, how much does it take for Total to rent a land for charging this thing, okay? So this is very varied, and we captured all this diversity. Like renting a land at Nakasero is much more expensive than renting a land at outskirts of Kampala. So we captured that. Then we went into ahead. We looked at installation cost. How much does it cost to install, okay, these EV chargers, okay? Let's say with 4 charging points, okay? So we went ahead and looked at what is the total charging cost. Because when you charge, you draw traffic of power from the power lines, okay? And that really, you get charged for that. Then we went ahead and looked at operational and maintenance cost, okay? Like you have to go to update the softwares, okay? You've got to spend money on security, you've got to spend money on the consumable and so on. And after that, ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the cracker, our interactive map, which really shows it all. Samsa, please.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Yeah, so this is our interactive map. It's designed to be the ultimate solution to Total's problem of lack of optimal locations to set up these stations. As you can see, very interactive, very flexible, very lightweight. So the points you see, the red represent fast term or short term charging stations, and then the blue represent longer charging station, long time. If I click here, as you can see, we were able to refine our model to bring, first of all, the red is fast charging. Then our model also returns, we estimated an estimate of the return that Total can get if it sets up a charging station at this location. It's in US dollars per year. So very flexible, very interactive, lightweight. So when you think lightweight, flexible, think Data Night.
Thank you. Hello. Yes, so we're still going. Our model is basically built upon maximizing profit, yeah? So one of our benefits is cost effectiveness. So TotalEnergies, according to our model, can make in worst case scenario $26.5 million a year. And this is from the 37 stations that our algorithm has pinpointed, okay? So another benefit is the prioritization. So now our model, let me say, in case you wanted to start with one station, you'd obviously have to choose one from the 37, yeah? You're not going to put the 37 all at once. So our model can guide you. With me personally, I would obviously go for low expenditure, high net income. Yeah? Okay, so our third benefit is a carbon credit. Now, carbon credit, this is sort of quantification of the reduction of CO2 emissions, yeah? So this kind of quantification can also help you with monetary terms. And also, TotalEnergies is currently developing oil projects. So this can also help them to do, it's called offsetting. So yeah, that is how also carbon credit can be included here. Okay, so now for limitations. Now our model with the demand estimation, you've heard my colleague passionately talk about it, but then now you see, to improve this model, we need to have better information. Yeah, so we need to carry out studies on the demand of each of these informal and formal housing units. So once we have that, the only way we can do that is through collaboration with TotalEnergies and perhaps any other players. So another limitation is the limited data to calculate the carbon credit benefits. So remember when I talked about quantification and all that? Well, we need data so that we can quantify that benefit. So, what next for us? Once we have that demand data, we can put it into our model and we give you better results. Like we can give you pinpoint results. You heard me talking of 26.5. That could be higher or lower, but higher because it was a worst case scenario, okay? Okay, so we also, after we get that quantification of the carbon credit the carbon credit benefit, would also put it inside our model because it would also help to have our potential revenue streams all streamlined inside the model. So, next, deployment. You've seen our fellows talking of how they put their things into a map. Well, ours would be in a desktop application. We wouldn't expect Mr. Philip to go and start back-end coding. So we would help you by preparing you an application where you can interact with our model properly. Well, other applications. Now, so real estate developers really need this kind of technology in that when you're looking for these suitable properties to develop, you really need a lot of information. And this geospatial model of ours can help you do that. And even banks. You see, when banks are doing, when they want to open financial units, new financial units, they do feasibility studies. These studies are very expensive. So now using our model, you can actually chop that cost by more than 50%. And yeah, I've just talked of like 2 or 3 private sector players who can benefit from this model, but in actual sense, anyone in the private sector can benefit. Okay, so now you've heard about the model and all that. Now how about you hear about the team behind this model?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, we are Team Data Night. We fall under a bigger team called Hail Numbers. Hail Numbers' theme is to harness data to combat climate change. It's what we work on as an entire team. Then as Data Night, it's the 4 of us. I'll introduce myself and let my colleagues do the same. I am Masaba Shamsa. I'm a 4th-year student. I do software engineering. I'm at Makerere University.
And I am Rumanzi Tevin Shura. I'm a 4th-year petroleum geoscience student and also passionate data scientist, Makerere University.
Nelson Dugu. I teach at Makerere University, College of Natural Sciences, and I have PhD in computational sciences. But I love challenges, and I really love to always encourage young brains like him and her to really progress in life. And I'm very happy to collaborate with you in future, all of you. Thank you. Yeah.
My name is Innocent Milia Opio, a mechanical engineer by profession, but I do sustainability consultancy, mainly ESGs and carbon footprint accounting. Thank you.
Okay, so we shall have your questions. We've wowed you that much. Okay, thank you.
Big hand clap for the data nights. And for the data nights, I think what worked for you is you talk money. That's what everybody likes to hear. I saw Philippe doing some calculations. So ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, this is our country lead, Philippe, country lead Uganda, did not come here empty-handed. He came here with a bag of goodies. Now we're going to see what is in that bag of goodies. But just as we get ready for that, for those who may not be believers, especially in where AI is going and, of course, the green revolution, when I was growing up, in the early 80s, there was a TV series. For the young guys, I'm sure you're saying, there were TV series in the early 80s. Yes, they were. And it was called Knight Rider. Now, Knight Rider, for those who knew it, was about a car that could speak. And it could drive itself. And a lot of us then thought, well, like, yeah, it was just entertainment. That will never happen. Hey, guess what? It's happening now. So we're at that part where we are now going to give out our goodies. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask my lovely ladies, where are our goodies? Yeah, to please bring up the goodies. And then I'm going to call upon Philippe to kindly come up. Oops. So to receive the first recognition of the morning is Data Nights. Can kindly come up. And they walk away with a juicy 3.7 million shillings. I can see the smiles on their faces. Well done. Okay. And the next third place contestant is Shalom. They tied with Data Nights. So they are also receiving a 3.7 million shilling check. Well done. And our runners-up was none other than Isbat University. And they walk away with 11.1 million shillings. I mean, guys, smile. You've won 11.1 million shillings. I mean, they're walking like, yeah, you know, we usually do this. I mean... If you could all just move slightly in the middle. Yeah, so we can get you square in the middle. All right, thank you very much and well done to you. And the winners of the day are none other than Team TKD or BN? TKBN, and they walk away with 18.5 million shillings. Now that's a lot of money, eh? Well done. The greatest thing about winning 18.5 million shillings is that's when you know how many friends you have. Okay, the phone calls are definitely going to start coming in. Well done and congratulations. Okay. So I'm going to hand over Philippe to wrap it up for us and to say thank you for being here.
Okay, so first I would like, of course, to congratulate all the team who just presented their solution. to us today. Just a few comments on what I pick from this presentation. First, I mean, all the team, they had to work together. And it was also the purpose to show how important is the teamwork to solve problems. Second, I mean, this is quite perfect because the winning team is the most diverse team with two women, 2 men. And that, of course, helped me on my message that diversity has value, diversity brings more creativity and more innovation and better performance. And just, I mentioned these 2 points, teamwork and diversity, because it's exactly the way we work in TotalEnergies Uganda. We have more than 25 different nationalities here in Uganda, in Kampala, working all together every day. And of course, we target 50-50 between men and women on the recruitment plan. We make sure we recruit 50% of female every year. And this brings performance. I cannot explain why and how, but it's proven that diversity brings performance. So congratulations, because you illustrated that very well today. After, I mean, the last comment I want to make is how you use digital. Digital is not there to give you the solution, but you first had to ask you the question on how you will have to answer the question, what kind of simplification you need to do, what kind of approach you need to do, and you came, some of you, with different solutions. Some of you, you focus on service station. Some of you focus on other criteria. And this is your added value in how you control and use digital tools to come to the solution, I mean, of your problem. I will challenge a bit some of those. Of course, we are happy to see that we could have a good business in installing a charging point in our service station, but I will challenge you that service station could disappear because of electric vehicle. Because as some of you said, I mean, where are people going to charge the vehicle? They are going to charge the vehicle when the vehicle is idle. And where the vehicle is idle at home when you are sleeping, and is idle in the office when you are working. And people are not ready to spend hours in service station to wait for the vehicle to be charged. So in Europe and in many countries, we may think that service station could disappear because it's not at that place that people will charge their vehicles. So that's why I can challenge some of your, but of course there is a transition. This is an extreme end where service station could disappear, but after there is a transition, and all this depends on the technology, how fast you will be able to charge your vehicle. If you charge your vehicle, I mean, in 5 minutes, as you fill your tank today with petrol, it can completely change the picture. So all this is quite complex. And the idea was not in one day really to reach, I would say, a project ready for implementation, but to trigger some thought about all this complexity and how we're going to move step by step. So it's not a TotalEnergies problem. I would say the e-mobility in Kampala is our collective issue that we need to solve. And the last point is, I would like to know who among yourself is ready to put your own money in installing charging station business. Could you raise your hand if you are ready to put your own money on that today? Because there's no electric vehicle in Kampala. So if you invest in installing charging station, you may invest your money and have no revenue. Because it's a bit of a chicken and egg. Without infrastructure, people will not buy electrical vehicle. But without electrical vehicle, nobody will invest in installing charging stations. So we have a bit of a chicken and egg issue to solve. And okay, it's once again a collective discussion, including government authorities, on how we can solve that. And after, of course, the last important point is affordability of the electrical vehicle, whether it's a two-wheel or four-wheel vehicle, is affordability for people to buy, because it's true that all of us, we want to contribute, I mean, to reduce climate change and reduce greenhouse gas emission up to the point of what we can afford. And affordability is quite key on this particular topic. So that's what I would say a few points I wanted to share with you. So thanks again. It was a wonderful moment. You did a great job, and we will come back to you with other challenges to solve in the near future.
Thank you very, very much for those words of comfort. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached that point when we do start wrapping up, but we need to remember this moment. So I'm going to ask all the participating teams to come up. I'm going to ask also Philip to kindly come up, and our judges to come up for the first photo. Then the second one, we will take it with the participating teams and the mentors, because they also have to be remembered. Then it will be open to the rest of us. I also have to take a picture. Okay. So the teams, can we kindly quickly be able to come up? And the judges. Because this is what memories are made of. And we can smile. So 1, 2, 3, say rEVolution with a big smile. Now the next are the mentors. Can the team still stay there? And Philippe, we'll still need you there. It's now with the mentors. Prakash, why do you keep running away? Say Fene. Then last but not least, the mentors can leave the stage. We still need we're going to have the TotalEnergies staff and our partners, Outbox. We need you up there. Okay. Josephine, we're waiting for you too. Yeah. Gregory, Rosette, we're waiting for you. Let's see all those teeth. Come on, guys. Let's see those teeth. So thank you very, very much. So big hand clap to our winners and a big hand clap to TotalEnergies Uganda for the support. And yes, lunch will be served straight after this. Thank you very much.
Just want to pass the message that a big thanks to all TotalEnergies team who has made it possible by their personal involvement in this adventure. So thanks Prakash, thanks everybody, all the COM team, and thanks to our partner Outbox for having made it possible.
Thank you very, very much. A big hand clap to everybody. Lunch will be served on the ground floor, so it is